And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Dave's Tacklebox. It's Sunday, the 30th of November 2014, and we've got loads of stuff again tonight. Coming up in tonight's show, we've got a competition where you can win some juice, and we'll be having a little look. I've got some samples of that juice, which I shall be giving a little try, and there'll be details of how you can enter a competition to win. Well, I'll tell you later. I've got hold of this thing. This is a box mod, which it arrived yesterday actually. It's a 50-watt jobby. Which I thought might be useful for playing with that Atlantis tank that we were looking at last week, so we'll be having a closer look at that. We've also got some VT from Cat and Sav. So we don't have much Cat and Sav on this show, do we? All the other guys get Cat and Sav more often. So I thought we need to put that right, and tonight we're going to put that right. But as ever, we'll start with the titles, and I'll see you in a minute. Right, so quite a lot to get through. Before we start, I shall mention that we have the old Twitter feed running again tonight. If you want to send me a message, and if it's clean and presentable, I could put it up on the screen like that one there. Yeah, and Dave Dawn there has very kindly saved me typing it out myself. If you make a tweet with hashtag VTTV and I spot it, and as I say, it's not going to offend me or anybody else, then we'll get it up on the screen for you. There's quite a few coming in already. If you were watching the pre-show, you'd have seen a few, but here's one from Vapor Mivs. It says, I own 2 e-leaf eye sticks now after watching you guys for a few weeks. Yeah, you're not the only one. So, they are proving rather popular, these things, aren't they? But there's an alternative to this about the e-grip, the Joytech e-grip, which I've got a bit of VT to show you later, where Cat, with some assistance from Sav, are taking a look at the e-grip, and that's got me curious. I might be checking that one out as well in the very near future, but I'll show you the VT later. Quite a few tweets coming in, quite a few tweets. Cypher 6. Have a toot on the Atlantis, he says. There's a delay on this. I think we're going to start actually by looking at this box mod. So let's do it. So get your tweets coming in. I'll do my best to monitor the live chats for those of you that are watching live. But I think I'll start by looking at this box mod actually, because I quite like it actually. So what it is, let me change the camera view and I'll attempt to show you. It is the Smock Pro BT50, and the BT stands for Bluetooth. Okay. Obviously in the box came the mod, which we'll have a closer look at in a minute. And you don't get much. You don't get your 18650 battery, so you'll need to get a suitable 18650 battery to use with it. We've got a little Allen key which helps you to put the battery in. I'll show you that. I'll be honest, I wasn't too impressed with the USB cable that came. It's a little bit flimsy. I've got some much heavier duty ones that I trust from some more expensive electronics, which I tend to use for charging mine. I'm not saying that that would fail, but it just doesn't feel... It's not chunky enough for my liking, to be honest with you. So I haven't used that. I've used my own. In actual fact, I haven't used it at all yet, because I'm using an 1860 that I've charged in a charger. Well, this thing, I can't even remember how much it cost me. I think it was about 70 quid. It's called the X-Pro BT50 by Smock. Just having a look on the back, it tells you some very sort of rudimentary details. It lists the features as seamless connect with app by Bluetooth, and I'll show you all that stuff. Intelligent battery life warning. Vape volume can be adjusted freely. It really doesn't give you much away at all. There's a booklet which shows you how to put the battery in and everything. But one thing that I did find a little bit disappointing with it actually was we've spoken quite a lot on VTTV over the last couple of months really about the importance of using a suitable battery when you're vaping at higher wattages, and this 50 watts I would call high. Although I've got a clip of a video I'm going to show you in a bit which puts that into context a bit. But nowhere in here does it tell you what a safe battery rating is. It just says stick an 18650 in basically, which is you know, probably the minimum of information that you'd actually want to see there. There's no sort of safety information at all, but hey, I theoretically know what I'm doing. Let's have a look at this thing. As you can see, it's a box. It's a box with a display. And if I can turn that towards the camera and press it, you'll see things light up, and we'll have a look on the closer camera in a minute. It's got basically a fire button, which you also use for accessing the menus. It's got an up and a down button. And then it's got this black thing on the front, which I'm not sure if that's just a decorative button or whether that's actually the aerial for the Bluetooth connection. And we're going to try, and I say try, we're going to try and get that to work so I can show you, because it's been a bit temperamental. I'll just take a little toke on this and then we'll open it up and I'll show you how you fit the battery and stuff. There's a delay when you press it. You press the button to wake it up, and there's about a 1 second delay, then you can vape it. So, and you have to press it like a second time, so it's a bit annoying actually. Well, there you go. That's at 20 watts with the Atlantis on it. And you can see it works, but I'll lose the Atlantis tank for a moment. I'll switch the camera and we'll have a look at this airbox mod. Right, so to fit your 18650 once you've got it, and for the record, let's just get some of this junk out of the way. For the record, you want to be using probably a 30 amp rated battery on this. Don't get sticking any cheap stuff of dubious origin in there. If it lets you down, you're going to wish you'd forked out for a decent battery. I've actually only got a couple of batteries that I'm prepared to put in this at the moment, and I've actually got some 30 amp rated ones on the way. This one's actually only a 10 amp, so I'm keeping the wattage down to about 20 for the time being, and just using it in short bursts because I'm not daft. You can see pretty easily how pretty much how it goes in. You remove the two screws, take off the back plate. Positive and negative are marked. Make sure you get it the right way around. And he says, making sure he gets it the right way around. Positive, negative. It's a good tight fit. So there might be an issue as to which batteries fit and which don't. So this one's a Panasonic, and I forget the number of it. Sort of with torches wrapper on it, but yeah, you ain't gonna fit a protected 18650 or anything with a nipple in there without really forcing it in, I'd say. So protected obviously you don't want anyway, but if you've got one with like the nipple on the top, like an AW or something, you might struggle. In fact, rather than speculate, I think I've got an AW 18650 near here somewhere, I think. he says. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. That feels like it's got a battery in it. Yeah, let's see. And I've just knocked one of the pins on the floor. That'll be interesting. That's a bit tight, that is. It probably would go. It does, just about, but... So I correct myself there. That does fit. But I'm using a higher rated battery at the moment. And I've just fired one of those screws across the room. Because that's live TV. Let's put that back in. Dum, 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 dum. Make sure that's on good and tight. See if I can find the other screw. It kind of hit me and then flew off. That could be anywhere really. I shall look for that during the ad break shortly. It's on tight enough to work. You can see that now it's on. We've got the display has lit up. It conks out after a few seconds on its own, but to wake it up you just press the fire button. If you want to access the menus, because it's got like a mechanical mode and it's got a sort of variable wattage mode. There's a little W showing there to show, so you can see at the moment that it's on variable wattage mode. There you go, it's conked out. So to wake it up you press it once, and then if my atomizer was attached I could now press that to fire it. But as you can see there, it says check atomizer. To change the wattage I can go up or down. I do apologise, I'm doing this upside down for the sake of the camera, but I think you can see what's going on there. You get a little battery reading. It tells you the resistance of your atomizer. So if I put that in, it should say 0.5 ohm or thereabouts. Let's get it a bit closer to the camera. There we go. Wake it up. It says X Pro. That's the delay I was on about. It has to do that before you can vape it, so you have to kind of press it once and then again. And hopefully you can make that out. But that's saying that it's 0.5 ohm, and obviously then if I fire it, it gets a bit brighter and it tells you the voltage that it needs to give you your 20 watts. So, or so it would seem. I was messing around earlier with the little Bluetooth app, which I'll show you in a minute, and I'm not convinced that that's too accurate, to be honest. Obviously this isn't the DNA chip in here. This is I forget what it was, the other one. The mass-produced Chinese one apparently. But anyway, I'll just quickly flick back and show you. There we go. Oh, again, see, press it once. And then you can vape it, and as you can see that it really does kick out the vapor with that. I need to find that little screw in a minute. So it's really quite a simple device there for you. You've got this mechanical mode, which will basically just bypass the circuitry and work like a mechanical mod. I've been using variable wattage. That seems to be the point of buying something with a chip in it to me, but you know, it works fine. I must admit, the reason I bought it, right, was one, I wanted to try 50 watts, and when I get some decent batteries arrive, I will certainly do that. But the other reason I got it was I was quite intrigued about this Bluetooth sort of arrangement. So there's an app that you can download. It's from Smock. It's free. Here's my charged iPhone, and they do it for Android or iOS, apparently. I've got it here. What you have to do, right, and I've been, I'll do this kind of where you can see it, but it might be a bit sort of faffy, right, because things are going to start like going to sleep and stuff like that. But if you press the fire button 3 times, it goes into a menu mode, and then you can see there, like it's got, that was the settings, you had a choice of wattage. It's kind of okay once you get used to it, but if you press it 3 times, you go into the first mode, and then when it comes up with that the first option is Bluetooth, and you press the fire button again, and now it's turned it on, and you might be able to see that just before the 20 watts, I think it is, yeah, there's a little B that says Bluetooth is on. You need Bluetooth also on your switched on your mobile, which I do. I'm going to do this upside down, and you can see because I've connected it already, it says at the top here Dave's X Pro. So it's kind of paired with it, or whatever they call it these days, and you can see that it's recorded that I've done 19 puffs on it since when, I'm not sure. You can do some fairly sort of straightforward things with it, like into the settings and change the power. So if I knock it up to 21 watts, for example, there is a slider, but that you can only get close and then adjust with the plus and the minus, and then that should, he says, if I save that by clicking the tick, you'll see that it's changed the actual device to 21 watts now, so you can program it through there. So let's just do some daft things like take it down to 8.8 watts, because that's happened to be where it landed, and there you go, it goes to 8.8 watts. And just got to make sure that little computer doesn't go to sleep on me. There we go. So that's quite kind of natty. It's really tricky to do upside down. It's hard enough the right way up. But there we go. I'll set it back to 20 watts because, like I say, I don't want to push it much higher than that until I get some better batteries in there. So you can see that works. Then if you look at the iPhone display now, when I press the fire button, you'll see that it starts reading. There you go, the puff count's gone up. It's saying I'm actually at 22 watts. It's telling me my voltage and the atomizer ratings there. Let's do it again. And the big number in the middle, which I'm not sure you can see on the camera, if I can just about see it on my monitor now. You can see it says 07. That's the length of the puff that you're taking. So how long you've had the button pressed, basically. So if I wake it up, press, you can see that's 3, 4, 5 seconds, and now the iPhone goes to sleep. So you get the general idea, yeah. So it's reading it sort of live from what the device is doing. So it's a bit of a toy, I guess. You can do things like set profiles, and I haven't dug into this kind of stuff too much. And I think it will give you the daily breakdown and how many puffs you've taken. Who would want that? I've no idea. How do I get out of here now? Like that, there we go. It seems to keep some statistics day by day. So if I look at, or at least, oh sorry, I do apologise, I'm going to have to turn it the other way up to read it properly. Yeah, so I think it's the different settings that you've had it during the course of the day, sort of thing. So you can see here where I've just been changing it, like 22, the time that I changed it to yeah, it's like a logbook of when you've had a vape. Utterly pointless, but at the same time really kind of good. You can set a password for it, because you never know, somebody might hijack your box mod. You can set when the charge alert for your battery comes in. It's currently set at 20%. That's the default. Temperature unit, and obviously you can give it a name. So I've creatively called mine Dave's X Pro. So that's the app. We have noticed that I was actually on Skype with Dave Dunn earlier, and as I noticed this, because yesterday I'm sure it was working pretty well, but look, you can see that the settings there, it says that it's firing at 3.37 volts. It's 0.51 ohms, the atomizer. And that all seems to agree with what's on the display on the box mod. It's actually only got 1 decimal place for the voltage. But if you can see, it says 3.3 volts and the atomizer is 0.5 ohms. And this is working out at 21.86 watts on here. And actually, the more you crank it up, the bigger the difference between the wattage, what the wattage on the app says, and what the wattage on here says. That says 20 watts. That says 21.8. So nearest, damn it, 22. That's 10% error. And we were messing around with it, and I found myself an Ohm's law calculator on the internet, and actually the app seems to be giving me a much more accurate representation, assuming the voltage and the atomizer resistance are right, and both the device and the app seem to think that it's using the same numbers on both, so therefore I'm inclined to think that that's probably right. Actually, I'm getting nearly 22 watts, not the 20 that it says on the LED display on the device itself. So there you go. So why that is? Well, I guess you'd have to say that it's probably because this isn't that accurate. So bear that in mind. Now, it's not a big deal, is it? I mean, it's 10% sounds a lot, but does anybody really need to be that precise? I'm not sure. It was Dave that made the comment to me earlier, and I completely agree with him. It's unusual, I would say, for me to actually set a wattage or a voltage, depending on what device I'm using, on here anyway. I tend to go for start off with something I know, like say maybe 12 watts, with a regular atomizer or something, and then I don't even look at the screen. I think, oh, that's a bit much, so I'll knock it down, or could do with a bit more, so I'll knock it up. So I don't think that's too much of a deal. The Bluetooth thing, I really don't know whether that's a useful thing or not, but why not? It's a toy, innit? It's another toy. Again, I haven't got used to it. Press it, then press it a second time. As I got a tweet here saying this is from Eric M. Storm, if I get this up on the screen, and he's saying that turn on Bluetooth to remove the delay. Just saw that on a review. I don't think that's quite the case with this. It's not so much a delay in firing, it's you have to press it to wake it up, then press it to vape it. Now, whether there's a setting in there where you can do something about that, maybe if I dig a bit deeper I can find something, but it's not like I'm pressing and then a second later it starts firing. You press it and nothing happens. You have to press it a second time. But I appreciate the tip. Maybe there's a clue in there. And a very boring is pointed out that Dave's playing with his nipple tops. I've got no comment on that. Well, that's pretty much my sort of first impressions, which is kind of really just an unboxing of the Smok X Pro BT Bluetooth 50 watt mod. My batteries will arrive while I'm away during the week, no doubt. So next Sunday maybe we'll crank it up just for a laugh and see what we can get it to do when I've got a battery in there that can handle it properly. But as you can see, it works. There was a comment in chat just before we came on air as we were doing the pre-show stuff, saying that the Atlantis tank, somebody wasn't too impressed with it. And what I would say is, I'm not really sure who the target market for the Atlantis tank is, right? Because I think if you're a true cloud-chasing sub-ohmer, then you're probably going to be more happy making your own coils anyway if you're going to be that precise. If you're somebody that just wants to vape for convenience and flavour and all the rest of it, then a regular sort of tank like this one, or a car atomizer or a glass atomizer or whatever the hell we call them these days, might be sufficient. And this kind of sits somewhere in the middle. It appeals to me because it's good for occasionally playing. I can't be done with winding a coil every day. And this thing, if you feel like making a bit of vapour, blowing out a few clouds, that setup there, it does it, doesn't it? I don't think anybody can dispute. But I have to say, it's nowhere near as satisfying a vape as this thing. I've currently got this at 14.4 watts, just proving my point that I don't set it to anything particular. I just click it up and down until it tastes the way I want it to. Nowhere near as much vapour, although you've got no chance of telling on that camera, I'm afraid. But it works. It does what it says on the tin again. The box mod, I quite like it. It's simple. I need to get those batteries and put it through its paces at the top end of what it can do to really appreciate it. But if you were looking at one and thinking about one, hopefully that's giving you an overview of it. Not sure about the app, as I say, but you know, I'm sure some people will love it. So it's time for us now to take our first break. In fact, I'm overrunning already. I knew I would be. When we come back, I'm going to have a look at a VT from Cat and Sav, and they're looking at the e-grip, which is interesting. You'll see. Let's take our first break. I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of vapetrails.tv.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
RY4 Radio.
And welcome back. Right, so Cat and Sav. We don't see enough of Cat and Sav on VTTV these days, and we see hardly any of them on this show anymore. So I was really pleased when they recorded a VT this week and offered it to me for my show. Without further ado, let's have a look at their review of the e-grip from Joytech.
Hello everyone, it's Cat here, and I've done a little video to talk about this. The e-grip from Joytech. Now they sent me this free of charge. Fully admit why they sent it to me, I don't know. But they asked me to have a look at it. Please excuse the noise of the birds. They always do this when I'm doing a video. And and as for Andy Pandy in the background there, well, pretending she's not there. While you're at it, will you shut that door? No, that one.
I will.
Enough vapor to please most people there.
Let's do it.
I'm showing them the A group. You can't get the stuff these days. Just over 50 quid for one of these. Well worth every penny. I'm not going to say it's perfect. There are a couple of little niggly things that are annoying. But in general, it's damn close to perfect, I'm telling you. It's a variable wattage device. It goes up to 20, I believe. And you just do this. Well, look, I'm not going to be tech. I don't do tech spec. But basically, it's very simple. You just turn the little dial here. Press the button. Charge it via a USB. Doofer that's underneath here. And fill it via a little hole in here. There's two holes. One's for air coming out and the other is for filling. So you won't be able to see it, but you get the general impression of what I'm trying to see here. Simplicity. Right?
Cool.
What should I like?
That's cool.
Go on then.
I've never had it before. Don't cover the air hole. There's an air hole at the bottom. Very nice.
Smooth.
It's baby's bottom.
It is smooth, isn't it? That's one of the big things. It's one of the big things I like about this, the lovely smooth vape it gives. And that's consistent. I've had this for a month. I've used it for a month. And I mean I've used it. I'm using two devices, and two devices only at the moment. This and this. But this is for another video. And although it's small, it's a powerful little thing, and it's sturdy and it's solid. And the ladies out there will love it because it'll fit in a handbag, no problem at all. Why you would want to put it away, I don't know, because it hides in the hand nicely. So stealth, and mind you, wouldn't be that easy because it does produce quite a bit of vapour, as you saw there. The drip tip doesn't come with it. That's mine because I like the longer drip tips on my devices. So there's the positives of it. It's a beautiful, compact piece of kit. A lot of people say it reminds them of the Revolution, which was, what, 2010, 2011?
Something like that.
I'm talking to the bod in the background there.
I don't want people to think you're bad.
No, not at all. Not bad at all.
Nobody bad here.
Annoying thing. Air hole is at the bottom, so it's quite often that you will, when you're vaping, stick your finger over it. And if you do that, you'd be sucking for England, because now it'll happen. It's USB charge, which is a positive, except the USB charging point is at the bottom here. Now, those are my annoying things about it. But the major one, which could be major to you, but is not major to me, is the cleaning of the tank. Now, I tend to vape juices on the similar theme, right? I tend to go for fruit flavours. I like the odd custard flavour. I like the odd chocolate flavour, and that's about as heavy as I'm ever going to get. right? Rarely do menthol, but if I do, I have a specific device for it. And this is the one at the moment that's got menthol juice in, which again is a Joytech product. To clean the tank between juices, the recommended method is to fill it with PG and vape through the PG. Now, I wouldn't want to do that. Exactly. That's what you've got to do. So if you're changing from menthol, if you're the sort of person that's going to be putting menthol in and then wants to put a tobacco flavour in, there's not a hope. So if you're that kind of vapor, this is not for you. If you vape similar themed juices all the time, it's ideal. Absolutely ideal. Say I've used it for a month, I love it. And for the money, it's well worth it. Now you can say it's a biased review, this, because I didn't pay for the item. But I can assure you it's not. I've used it every single day, and I'm sure you'll be seeing me use it for a long time to come. So on that note, I think I've said all I needed to say, and Sav's going to join me in a minute. We're going to do another video, which you may see and you may not. And if you haven't seen it, well, then you've missed it, haven't you? And if you haven't seen this one, you've missed this one as well. So on that note, I'll catch you later. I don't know where she's going.
Yeah.
Ta-ra from me, and ta-ra from you as well. Ta-ra.
And there you go. That's Chris, aka Cat and Sav. Well, Sav's sort of looking at the e-grip, but from a distance in the background. Now, I found that really, really useful because I've mentioned this, I think, every week since I've got it, this little e-stick thing, and it's brilliant. Okay, I haven't used an Ego, which is, for those that don't know, I do a lot of travelling and sort of. I've always used an Ego with some kind of like an EVOD or. What was the other thing that I was using? The BCD glasomizer things. And I've taken to using this iStick and this tank, which is the silo tank from Beyond Vapes. And it's great. Using it now, it's great. I'm hardly using anything else. Got two of these, one of them, and I'm going to get another one. And it's just great. Except for one thing. I have found that if this thing isn't completely topped up just before you get on a plane, when you get off the plane, it has leaked because of the cabin pressure. And why is it that all of my preferred atomizers seem to do that? But this one, unfortunately, is no exception. And, you know, it's a little bit more faff than you want to be cleaning down a device as you're going through passport control and all the rest of it. So I'm very curious now as to whether the e-grip might perform a bit better, so I think I might be picking one up and giving it a go. I just want to share a tweet with you that popped up on the subject of the Atlantis. It says the Atlantis looks great as the step before going into sub-ohm rebuilding, and the sub-ohm battery is safe for non-rebuilders, and that's a really good point. You know, we talked a lot on VTTV about the safety of building your own sub-ohm coils, and this takes a lot of the risk away. It's 0.5. You use it with the battery that they're supplying with it and everything, and it is a safe way to experience sub-ohms. And as I also pointed out, it's also good for lazy occasional sub-ohm users like myself. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our second break, which is a bit close after the other one because I overran for the first part. But when we come back, I'm going to give you the details of a competition. We're going to be looking at some juices certainly from a company that I haven't tried products from before, and I'll be giving you details of how you can get your hands on some of their stuff. So we'll be back very shortly.
LP Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
And welcome back. Just monitoring the chat on the live broadcast there. There are a couple of comments about like the leakiness on the plane. And the first comment was for Gary Dibley saying close the air hole off, but I think he's got confused because it's not the Atlantis tank I was talking about, it's the silo tank. And you can't close the air hole off. And besides that, I don't think that's where it's leaking from. I think it's coming down through the 510 connector. So that there's nothing I can close off there, unfortunately. The other comment was from the guy with the really long name was use a dripper, and you're absolutely right, because that is going to be the least messy option, I think, using a dripping setup. But the problem is that dripping, if you're travelling, has even greater impracticalities. Like, it's extremely difficult to be stealthy if you have to whip out a bottle of juice every few drags and drop more in. So I don't do drippers. I do Genesis atomizers and I do tanks. That's pretty much what I do. But there you go. Oh, and Kafen and stuff like that. So it's not all Genesis. But dripping, I just can't be done with that. That's way too much like hard work for somebody like me. Anyway, let's move along. I was approached a couple of weeks ago by a company who I must confess I have not come across before. The company name is One Light. And you can find them at One Light, that's one-light.co.uk, and they sell mostly juices, and they very kindly sent me some samples for me to try, and here we go. And as you can see, as it says on the top there, developed with doctors, and that's a theme that you'll find if you visit their website. They've actually developed their range of e-cigs and liquids along with doctors. Now, I did look on the website and it didn't elaborate on that because I was quite curious to see if it was any of the doctors that we knew and what have you. But it doesn't. It just says developed with doctors. So they sent me 6 flavours to try. So whilst I just talk about it a little bit more, I want you guys in chat to decide on a couple for me to try. I have a 306 atomizer loaded, ready to go here. You can pick a flavour for me. We have cappuccino, ice cool menthol, strawberry and cream, classic tobacco, golden tobacco, and another golden tobacco. So there's 5 different flavours there that we could choose. I think that one's the same as that one. Yeah. If you want to type into chat or tweet with #VTTV, those are the 2 ways that you can get to me, and pick a couple of those flavours. Golden tobacco, strawberry and cream, cappuccino, ice cool menthol, classic tobacco, and I will give them a try. And while I'm waiting for you to key that in, I will tell you a little bit about the competition. I'm going to try these now. But you can enter a competition by emailing me. And there's the details. If you send an email, just one per person, please. I will delete any subsequent ones before I do it. Just email to onelight, that's all one word, at vaportrails.tv. We're going to keep that open until midnight on Friday the 5th of December. Send an email there if you're interested. On Sunday the 7th of December, I will have dumped all of that information, all of the email addresses that I've received, that I've entered, into a big spreadsheet, and then we'll use random.org to pick one of those email addresses. And the lucky winner will get 10 bottles of juice and an Ego starter kit with a spare battery. So there you go. So that's a prize worth having. I said last week, tune in, there'll be a prize worth having, and it is indeed a prize worth having. So I shall now look towards a chat, and the first thing I see is cappuccino, and then the next one I see is tobacco, but that's not specific enough, Gary Dibley. So cappuccino we'll go with, and we will also take the next legible one. I can see strawberry. So strawberry and cream and cappuccino have been selected. I shall put those 4 away, because otherwise we'd be here all week. Maybe we'll have time for another one, maybe not, but I've got a little bit of video that I'd like to show you before the end. So these are all, I was asked what strength I preferred, and the highest one they do is 18 milligram. Now that's obviously a little bit lower than I normally vape, but this is all going to be about a taste test. You can see they're nice little boxes they come in. All of the information that you would expect to be on there, warning stuff. I think that's fairly standard fare. They tell me that everything is sourced and done in the UK. It very proudly says made in the UK on the label there. Developed with doctors at Liquid Lab. And they've got the childproof bottles. Strawberry and cream is the first one. Do like these little drippers on bottles. They're getting more and more common, and they are a much better idea if you're filling Clearos. But in actual fact, I'm not tonight. I've spent some time this evening vaping through with a flavourless liquid on this here 306. I'll do that, and I'll stick a few drops of this in. Dum-da-dum. That should be enough to get a taste for it. Stick my drip tip on, and I'll just give it a little sniff. Now normally when I do this, I normally manage to get it up my nose, so I'm not going to squeeze the bottle this time. It smells exactly like strawberries and cream. It's an encouraging start. It's not bad at all, actually. It's nice. Anyway, that works. That's always good. By the mic. I'd say it's probably a PG juice. Just checking that as I go. A little bit of VG in there. It says propylene glycol, vegetable glycerol, nicotine, and one light flavors, not favours. I would say that's very reminiscent of strawberry ice cream. Do you know what I mean? It's very pleasant, actually. I've left the message on screen, haven't I? Yeah. Just email to onelight@vaportrails.tv. You've got till midnight on Friday the 5th. That's actually really very pleasant. It's not sickly at all. And I must admit, when I nearly cheated when I read chat and thought, no, I'm not going to go for the strawberries and cream because I don't really go for fruity flavours. I often find them a little bit sickly, but that's actually subtle enough. It really is quite pleasant. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, that. That's strawberries and cream. That's rather good, that. I shall just blow this atomizer through. I have a piece of tissue paper here for the purpose. If I can get the atomizer off the battery now. Always a challenge. Nope. That's staying. Don't you just love it, eh? I can't get... There we go. I shall just give this atomizer a blow through. This is what we had to do in the old days, you know, when you wanted to change juice. Before the days of cartomizers. We'll get that out. And I still say, you know, if you're tasting juice and you're tasting a selection like that, you've got to have some 306 atomizers. You know, I've got plenty of them. And it's purely for doing this, you know, because I was saying before, I don't like the concept of dripping. I'm just too lazy for that. But to be honest, there are a few better ways that I can think of. You get good flavour, you get good representation of the flavour. And they're just so easy to switch between juices. No washing stuff out, just give it a blow. Right, so here we go again. This is the cappuccino flavour. And it's not very strong smell. In fact, I'm struggling to smell that at all, to be honest with you, but that doesn't mean I won't taste it. And here we go. Plenty of juice onto these, onto this. There we go, that should do it. About 5 or 6 drips I got on there. The computer's going to sleep on me, there we go. Yeah, that's definitely coming over the top of the strawberries and cream. And that, again, is not bad. It's quite a sweet sort of coffee flavour, that. And some of the coffee flavours can be quite sort of harsh. But this one's quite a sweet one. It is sort of cappuccino-like. Just looking in chat, because I know how people enjoy my juice reviews. They're legendary, you know. Again, that's very pleasant. I'd say that's pretty sort of true to what it's supposed to be, which is a cappuccino flavour. It's nice. I like it. So, that's not bad at all, that. I would definitely recommend entering the competition and trying to win 10 bottles of that stuff. That's from onelight.co.uk, one light with a hyphen. Like on the top bit of the little message on the screen there. There. That's so hard to do. And you want to email to onelight without a hyphen. onelight@vaportrails.tv. For the last time, I'll tell you, you've got until midnight on Friday the 5th of December to get your email in. Any emails that have arrived after that, I shall, in the interest of fairness. and we'll do the draw using random.org on Sunday the 7th of December live during Dave's Tacklebox. There you go. And once again, thank you to onelight.co.uk for sending the prize along. That's very nice of them. Right, I'll be back in just a second. Right, now we've been talking about vaping at high wattages for some time now. Now I stumbled across this video the other day and I need to find this. Trust me, you are going to enjoy this. The video itself is actually almost 12 minutes long and I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to let you watch for the first 2.5-3 minutes and I'm going to leave you to make your own judgments on this. So on the topic of how many watts do you really need, I give you the professional vapor video. Let's get this set up. It's always tricky doing this bit. Roll VT.
Hello guys, this is Victor from iSmoke. Thank you guys for watching my videos. I always take videos of all kinds of newest products. And today I'm going to show you is our newest product. It's 260 watts box mode variant by Vicious Ants. Okay, take a look. It's an updated version of variant and looks very good. 261. Like take an overview of this. Okay, look at this. I can reach 260 watt. It have two mode. One mode is a wattage mode, and one mode is a voltage mode. Okay, so we press 3 times. Now it's wattage mode, and now the wattage is 83 watt. So we can press a key to adjust to increase the wattage. Okay, reach very high. Okay, this box mode leave all the box mode in the market behind very long because this mode is 260 watt. Wonderful, 260. Then we just set a protection for that for only 260 watt because 260 watt is the limitation of what you can vape. Okay, if you beyond that, we can do that beyond the 260, but we don't do that because if we do that, we cannot protect safety. Okay, so this is the limitation of 260 for vapors because 260 is a limitation of what the wattage you can vape to the utmost. So let's show 260 watt. Let's show. Okay. Okay. It's too high the wattage, so it's scared bird. Okay. So usually we get as vape 200 or less or 100 watts. That's enough. But 260 is just for professional, you remember, vapors. Okay, if you're not professional vapor, please don't use these products. Okay, that's all. Now, I'm going to show you that the wattage. Now I just change it to the suitable. Okay, decreasing. To about 20 or 30 watt, that's enough, I think, for me to vape. Now it's to 109 watt. Okay, then it's 32 watt. So I'm gonna try this way. Okay, that's just to about 10 watt. That's my limitation to vape. Okay. Yeah, 10 watt is enough for me. Huge vape. So this is mode for wattage, and the
Let's get some sound going. 260 watts. There were flames. But 10 watts are enough for him, you know? I guess he's not a professional vaper. I really don't have much more to add to that. So I think that's a good place to leave it. There was some discussion in chat about the correct address for the One Light competition. So for one last time, and I'll put this in the notes when this goes up on YouTube very shortly after we finish broadcasting in a minute. And it's One Light, that's Lite, at vaportrails.tv. One Light, the company, can be found at one-light.co.uk. That's it. It's all we've got time for. I'm not a professional vaper, so I shall be sticking to my 20 watts on my box mod. I'll be back again this time next week. Until then, good night and thanks for watching. Bye.